Welcome to Film Freaks. This is Justin Llewellyn.
And Eddie Williams.
And tonight we're doing something a little different today. Instead of us doing a standard retro, like audio retrospective like we usually are, we're going to be veering off into something else, which is more of a vlog. So what we're going to do is we're going to be doing a little bit of freeballing tonight and just go over just some random thoughts.
And basically what me and him kind of sat and thought, just to add more content to the page, we thought maybe if we're not too busy, let's just say there's going to be like a controversial movie or so on and so forth. And
something that's like really coming out
that we think that everybody's talking about. We thought maybe when it comes to that, we're going to start doing more vlogs on that upcoming movie and our kind of what we predict and what we think is going to go and how do we think that it should go.
Yeah. So what we're going to be talking about in question is with the recent news of Halloween, which is the upcoming sequel coming out in October, on October the 19th. We're a little less than 2 weeks away with that movie coming out, and I figure we give our random thoughts on it because this is supposed to be basically the biggest comeback of this is supposed to be hailed as like one of the biggest comeback for slasher films in years to bring back to the mainstream, which. Yep. Okay, before we go off into the movie, let's just talk about the history real quick. Now, as you know, for those of you who have been following our channel, we did a retrospective, actually way back in 2015 when me and him first started doing these type of things.
Yeah, it was me and him actually. Our first retro.
We actually did that was our very first retrospective, and at the time we were just doing like we were doing now. We didn't really have a script or anything. We were just kind of it's the same thing we usually do a retrospective.
I mean, we don't have a script now, but we that was when we were really amateur where we didn't have like a method of what we were doing.
We were just going all over the place, and basically what we said in the first retrospective, because we talked about all the Halloween movies in two separate parts. You're welcome to check it out on our channel or on here.
I'm sure I'm sure Justin's gonna reshare them before the new Halloween comes.
Definitely. Because we talked about the first 6 movies on our first part. And so, basically, to recap of that, to go back to it, the original Halloween that came out in 1978 was quite a big deal for slasher films because when that movie came out, the only other movies we had before that was Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Psycho.
On the left.
No, I don't really consider that a slasher film. But movies like Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Psycho kind of brought the attention of slasher films. But Halloween basically was making it to where it was the king. It was the one that made everyone in the world pretty much see that, okay, this is some serious shit right here. And every movie that came out afterwards in the early 80s, all the way until today basically has taken the liberties from that movie. And for good cause, because the original Halloween, to me, still holds up as one of the best slasher films ever made. And the original film, to me, I think still holds a purpose for John Carpenter as well, because that movie dealt with how you make slasher films today, where you have a killer's point of view, and it's simple story. Michael Myers was a kid who murders his sister, and he ended up going to a mental institution for 15 years and got sought after by Dr. Loomis, then gets out and tries to go on a rampage.
We'll go in more detail of the movies in our retro.
Basically that film became such a phenomenon, and for a low budget movie like that made a fucking huge profit when it came out.
I know, it became a fucking thing, and it actually made so much money, it was demanded a sequel to follow up.
And it took like 3 years later, but basically that movie changed the face of history with slasher films, because if that movie never would have came out, we would have never gotten Friday 13th or Freddy or anything else like that. And to me, I feel like that's a franchise that, honestly, I think that after the second movie, they probably could have ended it, but I'm really mixed, because like we discussed in our retrospective, some of those sequels were good, but then it seemed like as it went on, it became having a decline.
Yeah, it's basically 2, and we're going to go deep into 1 and 2 mainly because we got what we wish it would happen, kind of like our opinions of how we think the directors and the producers of the new Halloween should have went with the story. But anyhow, basically, other than 2 being I think it was nowhere near the first movie, but I thought it was a hell of a good sequel, and it closed it out. 3, don't really have to go into that. It wasn't part of really. It was about around the time they were doing Anthology.
They wanted a different idea, which to this day I still defend that movie because I know a lot of people hate it, but and I know that there's people hate it for other reasons besides the fact that it doesn't have to do with Halloween. But to me, I still find that movie highly underrated because even for its own movie, it's still fucking I thought was scary.
Yeah,
and I thought it was quite different for it. It was a good change up.
Yeah, it was a change up that it needed, but now that Michael Myers is this iconic thing, I used to always hate on 3, but now I don't see it as a Halloween film. I try to ignore the term Halloween on it and look at the term Season of the Witch.
Yeah.
And if I see it like that, it took me some years, quite a few years actually. It wasn't all the way up until the last 3 years ago, 2-3 years ago, that I actually went back to it. And personally, I thought it was a pretty solid fucking Halloween movie. Yeah. Not a Michael Myers movie, but
as a Halloween movie itself,
like a season.
I still like the whole way with it being like a, it's like basically it's about consumerism, where it's all about, people making these masks and shit, and people get,
they got a strong Halloween theme in it too, so, and I love the score.
Yeah, and then when because that movie didn't do too well, they decided to bring Michael Myers back. And then with the 4th film, I will say to this day, that is a highly underrated sequel.
Somebody once called the second trilogy called the Thorn series.
Yeah, the Jamie Lloyd
Thorn trilogy. They call it the Thorn trilogy. And I will say that out of the Thorn trilogy, 4 I thought was pretty solid for what it was. And I still think it's got one of the most menacing openings out of all the film. In fact, I think Halloween 4 has a better opening than 1, 2, and the rest of them.
Because the atmosphere
is pretty fucking scary.
Oh, man. Yeah. But then, that's all, the 5th film, when it came around, it was just like so fucking disaster. It had the worst mask I seen of fucking Michael Myers.
Oh my God, the mask. You talk about an untucked. It just felt like no one gave a fuck. Not to mention, it probably didn't help that I watched the documentary of that, and the whole cast partied way too much offset.
Oh, really?
Like, they have so many scenes where the director and the actors were all having sex in real life, and fucking, they were so fucking drunk and hungover all the time that people just pretty much said that this movie was a goner behind the fucking scenes because nobody would fucking take anything seriously.
And it didn't help that this movie was literally fucking rushed. Like, it was shot like literally back to back, or not back to back, but it was literally rushed into production after the 4th movie.
And then here we got years later, we got part 6,
which that one to me, when I was younger, like really young, I remember that one used to kind of scare the shit out of me, just only because at the time when it came out, I'll admit, even to this day, that is probably the most brutal I've ever seen of Michael Myers. Until Rob Zombie's film. Yeah. And yes, to this day, I still don't like it. I mean, I don't like it like I used to. But looking back on it, if I would have made my own cut of the movie, like combining the producer's cut and the regular version, I could probably make a decent movie out of it.
Yeah, if you guys are not familiar with part 6, that one pretty much guts it all the way to, you have the one where has Harley Loomis in it. The other one does have Loomis in it. They have one where Jamie, the little girl, is now kind of like a late teenager, early adult. She's raped by her uncle and has his baby.
Yeah.
And then you have the other one where
she gets killed.
She just has a baby by some other dude that's not around.
It's not mentioned. It's kind of hinted, but it's not clarified that Michael's the father.
And then you got the it's just,
and you got young Paul Rudd.
And then the two difference also has the two movies also different the ending, where you got the one where the Stones kill Michael Myers,
which was stupid.
Oh my God! But then the other one ain't justified because you have Paul Rudd beating Michael Myers hacked to death with just a little fucking lead pipe while he's laughing. I'm like, and then you have Loomis screaming in the background. So it's pretty much, I mean. It's no. I thought 5 was 100 times worse than 6, but 6 was not great either.
No, but I will say to this day, if not counting the Rob Zombie films, it is the one that I think has at least the most like brutal entertainment value out of the entire Thorn trilogy.
But it has the worst fucking. It has the worst. It has the messiest
story. Yes. Comparatively, well, not as worse as 5 is, but the editing is the worst in 6.
5, there was no redeemability whatsoever in that, and I'll be honest with you, if it other than maybe the opening of 5, because I like that.
Without credits.
Credits, and maybe a little minor thing here and there. I'm telling you, it's hanging on by a thread of tying fucking Resurrection as the worst in the franchise.
Before we get to that one, I mean, the H2O was a good comeback because to me, this day, I find that movie to be not as like on par with the first two, but still a good, closure at the time. Especially seeing Jamie Lee Curtis back, because to me, I feel like H2O is how you fucking bring continuity into the first two movies. Yeah. Unlike the new one coming out, which we'll get into here shortly. Yeah. To me, H2O is what actually made the character of Laurie Strode work. Because to me, it felt like because they actually included the continuity of the original second film, they actually showed the post-traumatic stress disorder that she was feeling, and the fact that, it's been years and she's in hiding and stuff. Michael Myers still looking for her.
Exactly, and pretty much that one, there's still likability like it will always be, but unfortunately that film did not age very well.
Yeah.
And it has a lot to do with, one, we were so young at the time, we probably didn't even notice it. A lot of people didn't really care at the time, but now people do now. They kind of bring it up. Michael Myers had one of the biggest eye-hole fucking cutouts in all the fucking franchise. Not to mention, you see the fucking dude, he looks like he's never been hurt before.
Especially his hands don't even look like they're burned.
Yeah, and you gotta think, like he said, they actually add to his continuity in this.
Yeah, in 2.
Yeah, in part 2 and where he burned.
Also, I count this recently, was that apparently in H2O, they also had literally a scene where they couldn't even put the mask on. They had to use CGI over it.
Yeah, this film, for what it was, it's just a lot of shit. Not only that, I also find that to be one of the most watered down Michael Myers.
Yeah, it wasn't as brutal like it should have been. I mean, there are a couple of cool death scenes, but for the most part, it's just your standard.
It is. There's maybe they saved it for more of a slow burner too.
Which I know they were trying to be more like the first movie was, as far as the atmosphere and everything, but it really felt like they should have done more with it. Yeah. But at the time, I will say it was a great closure. Yeah. Now, Resurrection, though, fucking killed that franchise.
Oh my god, yeah. They thought that they decided to bring, when the series ended, the money, I think H2O broke a lot of records.
It did.
In box office. So, unfortunately, that means let's bring another sequel.
And when they did that, basically the only reason Jamie Lee Curtis came back was to kill her character off, and they killed her in the first 5 minutes of the movie, 10 minutes, and kind of really wasted.
And the thing is after that, this pretty much really doesn't make any more sense than that, because
Michael's always about killing family.
Well, he finally got the last bloodline. I mean, you could say that he wanted to live back in his home and die there, and people were there. Maybe you can add that, okay? But boy, this was pop culture at the time. This was the biggest deal. Buster Rhymes,
found footage, reality
TV shows. The dude from American Pie,
the black dude, the chick from Battlestar Galactica, also,
and the black dude. I forgot his name.
He was.
Oh my god, the chefy dude. Yeah. He was actually pretty famous, man. And this is when Tyler Banks was really big.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and so that film, while it had a cool concept, especially with found footage, it really fucking was ruined because the rest of that movie was so bad. And wasted its fucking potential.
And Busta Rhymes knocking the fucking...
Yeah, and I'm supposed to buy it. Busta Rhymes can do kung fu moves on Michael Myers.
Just because he watched Bruce Lee on fucking video, really.
Yeah. But that movie pretty much killed the franchise. It didn't even get a sequel because it ended on a cliffhanger where fucking Michael still wakes up after being burned or blown up.
Yeah, well, he's electrocuted.
Yeah.
And then burned.
And then when we got the Rob Zombie films, that one, the first one, I'll still say, I actually really enjoyed. I actually really think that it's got its flaws here and there, but for a remake, that's probably one of the last great remakes I saw.
Yeah, I gotta agree with Justin here. I get some of the flaws, which I won't argue with you on, people on that don't like the film, but for what it was, especially whenever, alright, Texas Chainsaw Massacre's remake was a hell of a solid remake.
I did too.
I thought that one, but aside from that, comparing to Nightmare on Elm Street's remake in 2010 and Friday the 13th's 2009 remake, I thought Halloween's remake was leagues better than both of them. A lot of people will probably gut me for liking at least this over Friday the 13th, 2009. I don't get the fucking like in that film. I will say the atmosphere is pretty creepy, and it did have a hell of a good score.
Yeah.
And the guy who plays Jason is actually pretty cool. And I do like some of the story, but boy, that fucking movie fucking was so standard, and not to mention the cast was annoying as fuck.
Yeah, and to me, I felt like Rob Zombie really captured the movie so well with the backstory, and also the fact that
back to the movies,
but also the fact that he spent a lot of time with the connection between Dr. Loomis and Michael Myers, which I highly loved in the remake.
So let's now get back to the current times.
But also, the second Rob Zombie film wasn't that good, but it's still, I don't hate it. If it's just all right.
All right.
But going back to the new one, what we're trying to dig into, and I know it's been 15 minutes in, what we're trying to get to is that the new film, I feel like it's losing its potential because, for one, they're making it to where this whole film is basically ignoring every single sequel after the first movie. Yeah. Like, if you've seen Texas Chainsaw 3D or that other one they're doing, Terminator, the next one that's coming out, they're basically saying the first one exists, or in the first one exists, and the sequels never happened.
Yeah. So and we've been seeing this trend going on a while. We saw it with Genesis trying to redo everything.
Yeah.
Then we had what was it?
Texas Chainsaw 3D.
3D was doing it. We've had a couple other movies doing it lately. It's becoming this new trend, and now Halloween's jump on the trend of let's do everything all over again, but kind of like ignore the sequels, which I have no problem about 4 through 8. But I have an issue, or 3 through 8. I have an issue of them ignoring 2, and we're now getting ready to get into that right now. If you guys not familiar with the news that are coming around, we like this. This is just a pre-guess of what's going on, but it's pretty much summed up that they've pretty much allowed this to get out. Let's start with the first one. There's going to be a lot of changes in this franchise.
Yeah, basically.
And I'm sorry, but this is an iconic killer. I don't think anybody would really like them changing Freddy's motive or anything, or Jason's, or his purpose of what happened to them. That, we would all picket sign. I just don't get why so many people is accepting where this is leading.
Well, because because the story is going to go like this. It's going to be Michael Myers. He apparently has been in jail for 40 years after the first film. Yeah. So we're led to believe after the original film ended, Michael Myers ended up going to prison. And the whole shit with Part 2 never happened. Okay. Yeah. Now, here's the problem, though. He goes to prison for 40 years, and we're led to believe that Laurie Strode has waited that fucking long. Now, this is just speculation, but if they're going by that route, I have a problem with that because I don't believe that she would wait fucking 40 years for him to get out of prison.
Yeah, here's the thing I have a problem with. I think we all Halloween fans, any people in general, would agree that do not touch anything from Part 1. Are we on the same page? I'm sure we are. But here's a problem. A lot of you don't realize that they actually said that there's a possibility they changed the ending of Part 1 because they knew he couldn't survive 6 bullets.
Yeah, because
they touched our fucking beloved original. And I don't see why there ain't no outrage on this.
Well, yeah, because, the first film showed that he potentially survived because he actually was gone after he got shot.
Yeah.
Okay, that was meant to be a cliffhanger. I get it. The problem is that because you're taking the original second out, how the fuck is Michael Myers going to go to prison after he just leaves like that?
Yeah.
He would still be on the run.
Yeah.
I would have
they changed it. They said they apparently, I'm not 100% sure, but leaks, this is more of a leak rumor, so I can't be guaranteed this is true. But I heard that they're going to change it where he didn't get shot. Some things happen where he kind of falls, gets knocked out, and then they're there to arrest him, take him to jail.
See, that I can't buy because, this is a guy who's able to take bullets and still get up and walk. You're led me to believe that he happens to get up and then he gets stopped by the cops. I'm like, okay, that I can't fucking buy that.
And while we're on the subject, yes, Michael Myers has now officially lost his hidden, possibly supernatural, the mythical of him, and now he is. A lot of people bitch about that, how the other ones exploited that and showed
where he's
everything
all like fucking superhuman
and all that stuff. Well, here's the problem: why are you guys not bitching about the 2018s where they're exploiting him as just a human being? A standard guy. Well, because he's Jeffrey Dahmer. He's fucking, just standard John Doe out there. And all he likes to do is just stab people. Like, I don't get, that is just so fucking boring.
It is. And also, okay, the first film, if we're going back to it, it's led to believe that Michael Myers still has a part of him that's kind of human, but Dr. Loomis still believes that whatever part of him's human had died a long time ago.
Yeah.
And now I can't remember if he said that quote in the first or the second one, but if you're going by just the first movie, I believe he did say something that the way the movie's going around is that Michael Myers is basically a force of evil. And there's still part of him that's not like, he's not completely human.
Well, I mean, I think people wouldn't be on par seeing a Freddy humanized movie. So why the fuck are people, I don't get why people are accepting this story.
Well, because I think what it is that it's one of those movies, because the original Halloween was supposed to be, they're supposed to buy that he could just be an everyday, guy, blend in with the environment, I guess.
Blend in with the environment, the guy who took a bunch of bullets, stabbed in the eye, so on and so forth. And, did
he get stabbed in the eye? Oh, yeah, that's right. He got stabbed in the eye by the co-hanger.
So, I mean, it kind of reaches where it points out in a way, without speaking, that this guy is more than just human.
That's what I'm saying. He's got a part of him that's like, he's got more strength.
Yeah, he's gone.
That's what I'm saying. So, and also I have a problem with this too, the fact that in the new film coming out, they're led to, now the biggest fucking complaint I have in what they're doing is they're saying that they're never siblings. Now, I did
this
confirm.
This is a big issue here, and this is pretty much a confirmation.
Right, but now I did go back, and I do remember that the first film doesn't really hint that they're siblings, but from the way that it's going and everything, there is still a reason why Michael Myers went after Laurie.
And that's why they made it part 2.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Now, a lot of people have said the argument, well, it was just because Laurie Strode showed up at the Myers house.
That is the dumbest fucking stupid shit I've ever seen. The fact that Michael Myers passes like 1,000 people on the way, and hell, he's got Loomis and that nurse who are actually trying to hurt him, and he still don't give a fuck.
That's what I'm saying. He's just after Laurie.
He's after something.
Exactly, and he's the only one. She's the only one he's been paying attention to throughout the entire movie.
And you know what really boggles my mind, and I don't mean this guy's in an offensive way at all, but some of these people who are really enjoying what they're going to possibly do with this new one call themselves the diehardest Michael Myers fans of all time. I don't understand how, and this isn't the only story they're fucking destroying. I don't understand how you can call yourself that and then go with cop-out shit like that and not even remember majority of the story in the first one.
Well, yeah, because the first one, it dealt, even taking into consideration that they weren't siblings, Michael Myers was still going after Laurie the whole fucking time.
Well, yeah.
He went after her friends too, but he was after her the whole time.
Yeah, he killed people around her. That's knew what I'm saying. Who was around her.
Because he knew the people that she was close to, so he was trying to get to her.
Yeah, get to her. And now with that, this is probably the by far, and I've been hearing it, this has been 2 months since people really got in depth of this movie. This is by far the one most annoying analogy of possibilities of the entire of this film is going to do out of all of them. And this possibility of why he's doing it
is because in the way,
well, here's the people's theory. I'll get to that in a second, but pisses me off. The one that got away, that is the most laziest fucking confirmation, possibility. If I was a writer and wrote that, I would fucking just look at myself in a mirror and go, oh my god, I suck. I suck. How do you guys not think that's lazy writing? Why is everybody going around, dude, it is work. It works very well. She's the one that got away. That is the perfect. That's exactly that will make up for it. That makes no fucking sense.
And not to mention, here's the reason I have a problem with that too. For one, if you remember in the original Halloween 2, Laurie Strode went through more fucking shit in that second film than she did in the first movie. Now, I understand the first film that she was kind of, in trouble that her friends died. Yeah. But here's the problem. in the first film, the only person that she came across was, I believe, wasn't it just Linda? She didn't know that the other one died. She didn't know Annie died, did
No,
she?
she didn't know Annie died.
That's
Annie
what I'm
died
saying.
was by herself.
That's what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
the second one, she knows that.
Here's going to be the problems in the new film. If they go, well, Eddie, she's the one that got away, and she's not. They don't have to be siblings. This is perfect. This is a new take on it. But it still is going faithful 120% on the original, right? And everybody goes, yeah. Well, here's the issue here. If you guys remember in the first movie, when Michael breaks out of the insane asylum, he's after somebody. He is devoted to leave. He's going for a certain somebody.
Yeah.
And that is Laurie Strode. If you guys remember, half of the fucking first half of the movie, you have the music playing while he's just circling around streets, around bushes, popping up just for her.
And in this now, granted, this is after she goes to the Myers house.
Oh goddamn!
But
so you want me to believe because you gave mail to his fucking Myers house? That Michael Myers' entire killing spree started over mail.
No, I can't buy that.
That's the fucking stupidity you will get if you actually go with the because she's the one that got away theory. That is the dumbest shit ever. And that is loved by like 90% of the people that I've seen lately, saying everybody's seen it. I think I've seen probably, I mean, there had to have been over 5 million people say they love that theory.
And to me,
that is the dumbest shit ever.
It's okay, because for one, and also going back to the original Halloween 2, Laurie Strode, when she was in that hospital, she was so, like, fucking damaged from all the trauma that happened because, first of all, she's limping a lot because she's still in a lot of pain. She's still trying to get away from Michael Myers after that. And the more bodies that keep pulling up, I'm pretty sure all that shit would put her in even more fucking post-traumatic, and that she would be like a survivor.
So here's the thing to him and I kind of say, I'm not trying to demean or downgrade what she probably went through in the first movie. I'm sure that it was a pretty scary night, and I'm sure that any of us would be pretty fucking devastated. However, my issue lies with the fact that, okay, this could have been some standard guy trying to kill me, and then she saw him die, get arrested, whatever, and that's the end of him, and then pretty much she lives happy ever after, with probably some post-traumatic stress. That night scared the shit out of me. The problem is, in 2018, she plays a character who is traumatized that he is coming back. I know it. I feel it. I'm scared, and she won't stop, and she won't stop getting fucking scared. She goes overboard doing shit to her daughter. She's ran her daughter, like, apparently in the new movie, she's ruined her relationship with her real daughter, and then her granddaughter's kind of like looking at the mix and saying, damn, grandma, you're nuts. I don't buy that with just the first movie unless she experienced him actually returning from the dead, which that happened in part 1. He came in part 2, and he came back for more. That's the only reason I can buy her that crazy, if she knows that he can come back.
Yeah, which, not to repeat myself, but that's why H2O did that well, because they actually showed a lot of the shit that she went through with that. In fact, she was still scared in the second one. It's here, it feels to me that she's no longer fearful. She's more like, okay, I'm ready, motherfucker. Exactly. She's more like Sarah Connor nowadays.
Yeah, I'm actually a little skeptical with her Sarah Connor ways. I do feel like she's gonna be too much of a badass. And how do you guys gonna cheer for that whenever you know Michael Myers is human again? God damn, she's gonna kick his ass in 2 seconds. It's over.
Yeah.
Credits roll. Da-na-na-na. I mean, people are fucking liking a film. I mean, I'm not trying to tell you what to like and not like, but it's just I'm just mind boggled by the cult following's getting before it even came out.
And it's already getting, like, such praise from the get-go. But also, one of the things that's really got me really, like, kind of questioning is,
well, no, not only that, you have Dr. Loomis, who apparently died of cancer in this.
Yeah, because
of old age or some shit. And I thought maybe if you would have added 2 in continuity, that would have been a good closure with, him dying in the hospital. Get to that theory of the hospital. What you would do?
What I would do? Okay, if I would have kept it alive. Now, this is basically, there's 2 ways they could have done this as a sequel.
Yeah.
One, you retcon the ending of the original second film by basically saying the stuff in the hospital, it all happens, but it never gets blown up. Instead, like, okay, here's how I would do it. You can do it 2 ways. One, you get it to where Michael Myers never actually gets blown up. He escapes when Dr. Loomis blows the hospital up. And you could say that perhaps Dr. Loomis died there and that he's not coming back in the new one. And Michael Myers somehow escaped and never got burned. Or you do it the other alternative where perhaps Dr. Loomis, instead of blowing the hospital up, he instead like made it to where Michael Myers was killed off in some other way, whether it be like electrocuted or something else. I don't know, however you describe it. Basically, if you presume that he was dead in some other way.
Well, Michael Myers should never be presumed a human anyways. He should be presumed something stronger than what we can understand.
Right, and the other alternative I was thinking of is if you maybe
not burn him to where he's a crisp, but where it shows he's on fire and they put him out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Fucked up.
They could do like they did with 4, where he's still burnt the fuck up and he still comes back. I mean, 4 was able to do that,
but take him to jail that night.
But that's what I'm saying. Take him to which they did in 4.
Which I'm not bitching about the whole jail thing. I only bitch about the jail thing that they arrested him when he fell off the fucking balcony thing.
Yeah,
that's the most stupid shit, man, I ever seen. But anyways, that also would explain Loomis's death in the end, and we could just say he died from that. It would explain Laurie to be more fucked up if she experienced 1 and 2 overnight.
Yeah.
I mean, the same night. It adds more of that. And 2, 3, we get the true part 3.
Yeah, that's
because you got to think, people. We bitched about not having the actual true trilogy. We made an anthology one from that wasn't even anything to do with Michael Myers, and then we waited a little while to make a part 4 that had nothing to do with 1 and 2. So 1 and 2, believe it or not, doesn't have a trilogy, but 4, 5, and 6 has its own trilogy.
Yeah.
How does that work out?
Well, technically, if you ignore Resurrection, you could say H2O is the final part of the trilogy. And if you say Resurrection never happened.
And happened, let's just say that 20 years later from the events of the first movie, H2O, and she didn't chop the person's head off, right? Or didn't chop Michael's. It did kind of like a record of trying to change it up like they did with Resurrection. But do the H4O, like this is 40 years later, came back again. Now we know she would be traumatized 3 fucking movies.
That's what I'm saying. If this was the true sequel to H2O, they could get it to where she, instead of cutting his head off, she basically
you can probably do the whole
cut it off, but you would have to actually, if they wanted to go really
vocal cord thing.
Yeah, you could do the vocal cord thing, but you'd have to do it a lot better this time. And just say, okay, Resurrection never happened. We're going to do it this way. He got away, basically.
And he's been gone for 20... Yeah. Got away. But no, or it could be like, you can kind of add on a little bit to the ending because he got arrested. Because he's in the prison. Yeah. I have no problem with him in the prison now. I just don't like the way how they written it. Yeah. Like how in part of this new one, they wrote him to be arrested the night he fell off the balcony.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Well, and also, it's also weird that with this one, they have it to where what really throws me off is that, for one, since they're ignoring all the other sequels, it still makes me wonder, like you told me earlier in one of your posts you did on Facebook, how
and not only that, man, I don't know. I wouldn't say that it's kind of weird because a lot of people didn't like Rob Zombie's Halloween, which I get. I could get it wasn't for everybody. But there's some things that a lot of people bitched about in that film that I actually kind of see in this new one.
That's what I'm saying.
But now they suddenly love it.
Yeah.
Because it's not Rob Zombie and it's probably got Jamie Lee Curtis in it, and it's John Carpenter's back, of course, and so we, whatever Rob Zombie did, John Carpenter could do, which he, by the way, bitched about too, and it's in the new film, and now it's all dandy.
Yeah, what was
I will say that, yes, I get that the mask looks kind of like the first one, but an age version, but there's actually a scene where it looks like, I guess you could say that maybe there's a couple scenes where they might have used a different mask because they couldn't have it that night, or they didn't want to damage it or whatever. I don't know what it is, but personally, there's some scenes where I actually kind of thought the mask looks identical. Not 100%,
But to the one from Rob Zombies.
I mean, the dirtiness, the crunchiness.
Yeah.
People's complaints was the dirty and the aging of the mask, even though it fit in continuity of it being buried for that fucking long. Well, people are praising it for being dirty and crunchy looking in this one. Makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Like, but that's how it was in the Rob Zombie one.
Yeah, so I don't get the bitching in that.
Yeah, but also here's the other thing too with how this movie apparently is trying to ignore the sequels.
Yeah.
Okay, then why the fuck do you have scenes in the trailer that are right out of the other films?
Oh man, talk about a movie that everybody bitches good. It's gonna say fuck you to the sequel.
Well,
that fucking does a scene for scene for almost every one of the fucking
like for
movies.
example, there's a scene where it's in the bathroom stall and it shows Michael Myers putting like teeth in wherever.
Yeah.
That stall scene was similar to H2O's where he's in the bathroom.
Or the mechanic died.
Or the mechanic died in
part 4.
Part 4, yeah. Or and also that's also another one. And also you have a scene like right out of here's another thing that's kind of weird.
There's some parts where he walks around. Kind of reminds me of 6. And then they actually recon part 2.
Yeah.
They bitch about 2.
They actually
do a shot for shot
from the opening scene of part 2 where he's walking around. Hell, there's a whole scene where he's walking around in the trailer and he comes across an old lady like the original second one, and then he grabs the knife, then goes to he kills her. Well, first he grabs a hammer, and then he grabs a knife, and then he kills a babysitter. I'm like, okay, you literally just fucking remade the original second movie.
Let's get to this part. So Michael Myers, everybody's like, well, they're humanizing Michael Myers. This is a different take. This is more like, more scary because it could actually happen. Okay. Well, Michael Myers, by the way, is 70 fucking something years old in this movie. Why the fuck is he? And hey, remember, you can't think that there's another man behind the mask.
It's the same guy.
It's supposed to be, obviously, Nick Castle, who is
the
7-year-old man.
Yeah, the original guy.
Well, it's Michael Myers, so he's 70 years old. He's human. This motherfucker's still strolling around like he's powerful. Oh, so now we're going to think he's supernatural. Well, then fucking let the 2 have the ending and bring this one as part 3.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like some of the stupid shit that people came up with, the one that got away is fucking the most laziest writing I ever think that any director can do. The one that got away is just as dumb as the jump scares that happens in Paranormal Activity.
Yeah.
Just to make a movie. That is that terrible of writing. Like, seriously, a monkey could fucking write that.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing this movie's kind of got going for me is the theme. Also, John Carpenter is involved with the movie again.
I will say, as much as we bitched about it so far, I will say that it was good to see John Carpenter back. It's good to see Jamie Lee Curtis back.
Hell, even Nick Castle back as Michael Myers.
That's rarity right there for the original comeback on Michael Myers. That is awesome.
The way it's directed.
I expect to have a very entertainment value. It's good to see Michael Myers back on screen during Halloween, and it's good to see him kill people. Cool.
But and also the way it's shot.
My predictions on that entertainment value and stuff, it's going to be kind of... I don't know if you guys remember this. A lot of people... We had a movie called Jigsaw last year, which is the 8th installment to the franchise, who actually did the exact same thing Halloween's doing. In fact, Halloween, I feel like they watched that, and then they said, we want to do that to Halloween. Because they literally did the same thing. Ignore everything that's happened in the franchise, and kind of do your own story. And boy, was that fucking movie predictable. I have a feeling Halloween is going to be the 2018's version of Jigsaw.
And what's going to really... two things also that's kind of fucking stupid about this.
Yeah.
First of all, why the fuck are they calling it Halloween? Just the same title?
Yeah.
That title is so fucking confusing. You have the original Halloween from 78. Now you have the Rob Zombie one from 2007. Now you have this one 2018. So we're basically going to have to call it the 2018 Halloween.
You know what? For what it's worth, Jason and Freddy and even Texas Chainsaw at some points have a better continuity and story continuity than this fucking movie. Because I find Michael Myers goddamn, you made an iconic movie. Even the sequel was good. Even 4 was good. The remake was good. You made an iconic killer that's pretty menacing.
Yeah.
Has the worst fucking... I'll tell you right now. The
most butchered timeline.
butchered timeline and everything. It's almost like going through the fucking maze in The Shining.
Right.
I'm like, where the fuck am I at? And I actually saw a dude the other day that had the greatest meme ever. He took all the posters from Halloween. He had Einstein even drawing it out and confused.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, like seriously, like they just, and then I know this is too early to talk about, but according to the production company that's making the new one, there's already a sequel possibly in the works.
And look, I know the movie's probably, it's gonna...
I thought we were making this to close it out, people.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying, well, you're wrong, man. They're gonna just close it out. It needs to end. They brought another fucking sequel, and it haven't even been out yet.
Yeah. And
they're making a new sequel, by the way, people.
And...
Yes.
Watch.
To this one.
And what's probably gonna happen is, this one's probably gonna have a fucking cliffhanger like the original, like they're gonna lead it into.
And you know what? There's another film that said we're doing a sequel right before the movie came out, and it was a movie I just compared Halloween to. Jigsaw!
Exactly.
I'm sorry. I could put shit like this together, and it just fucking proves my fucking point.
Yeah, this is gonna be one of those movies that it might be better than expected, but it's probably gonna fucking be really messy as hell.
Yeah, again, I apologize that if I went on a screaming rampage and, you know, really getting deep into my feelings on this, but I mean, it's just, this is weird that a lot of people are fucking unbelievably calling this the probably the best slasher movie that could possibly happen in like fucking ever in history.
Yeah, I know.
I don't get the hype so far. I would think, as much as we've been told about it, about what we've been told, I figured this movie would have had picket signs by now.
Yeah. I mean, the only good thing I will say is that even though it's I will say that the novelty of them bringing back slasher films in mainstream cinema is good. I like that because we haven't really seen slasher films do well in the theaters in a while, except last year with Happy Death Day. But still, I'm talking about R-rated slasher films. This is the one that could probably bring it back.
Let me ask you this, and I love Michael Myers, but I wouldn't call me fandism boy, fanboy, like, you know, you get with Star Wars and shit like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say I'm that deep into Michael Myers. Do you think this movie will be suffered by fanboy? Like the hype it's getting is by fandism.
Fanboyism? Possibly,
yeah.
I could see that.
Like, people are just so obsessed with what we're about to get. Because you are bringing Jamie Lee Curtis and the iconic John Carpenter back. And you got the John Carpenter doing the theme again, which is cool. But do you kind of feel like maybe where we're at is because of the fandism of this film?
Yeah, definitely.
Like, people won't take a no for an answer on how bad it is.
Well, and plus...
It could be.
It's also, I mean, I get this movie is trying to be made for the fans.
Well, I say that because I actually know a diehard fan that's in one of the little movie groups in Facebook. He's already put it on... I actually caught him putting it on his list. He hadn't even seen it yet.
Oh, yeah, that's
fucking ridiculous.
That's fucking... Yeah, no.
Yeah, that is fucking ridiculous, people.
Yeah.
The fandism, I'm a fan of shit. But if you give me a shit product, I'm going to call you out.
Yeah.
No matter, you know, how much I love the franchise. I just don't get fandism being obsessed with, you know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But, you know, but overall, like, there's more and more I want to go into, but I can't really judge it too much until we see the film.
Again,
I have speculation. I have speculation that from what we're hearing so far, I'm really going into it with such the grain of salt and just so low expectations.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go with a low expectation when I see it because, I mean, I have my predictions. I could be wrong. I could have my mind blowing. Could have my everything change and not go the direction I thought it was going to go. But I actually have followed some sneak peek reviewers who actually have seen it or got a little earned sneak peek. You got to think this was in Toronto. They released it in Toronto for one night.
Yeah.
And as much as a lot of people liked, even the people that praised it went in kind of detail what they liked about it. And I will tell you right now, that was cringy on some of the shit they liked.
Yeah.
Because I was like, really? Oh, Michael Myers, he says, I love you. Like, I mean, I'm surprised they didn't even say that shit. Like, you know, I'm just throwing an example out there. Something really off the walls ain't Michael Myers. Like, somebody who gave it props, went and said something weird like that and was like, okay, that's not Michael Myers.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't think this is gonna be one of the few times I don't think I trust reviewers when I see this.
This is probably gonna be a film, rare occasion, where I find it to be very overrated.
Yeah.
When it comes out.
Yeah, kind of like last year. We probably will get bashed for saying it, but him and I thought Get Out was like a really overrated
horror film. Yeah. So it's gonna be probably like
Wasn't
this
that last year?
It was.
Yeah,
it was last year.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we're gonna go into it with very low expectations, but. I mean, it could be good. It could be probably a lot better, but we don't know yet. But based on what we're hearing, we're not really looking forward to it too much. So
yes. I'm going opening night because it's Halloween. We're dedicated to go see it, but hopefully my mind's blowing. That's all I ask. I hope I'm wrong.
But overall, for those of you who have also seen, but we'll let you guys know what's going on when we see the new Halloween. Until then, we'll be. For those of you who have also seen the other Halloween films, including the originals and the sequels.
And what's your thoughts of the predictions of the new movie?
Let us know in the comments below what you guys thought about it. And if you like what you see here, you can feel free to like, subscribe to our channel, and check out more of our other reviews here in our website at filmphreeks.com. And we'll be seeing you in our next review.
All right,
We'll see you later.